Stars, cars, guitars. Coming up.
Oh, nice one. That was funny.
Oh, man, I've laughed so much for ages. It was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Well done, Alex.
Do you want the stocking suspenders and all the trimmings?
This is Stars, Cars, Guitars with Tony Hadley, Jim Cregan, and Alex Dyke.
I was just about to start and I heard the famous yapping, the lovely yapping of Tony's dog, Martha. Hello,
Martha.
guys.
Yeah, shut up, Martha.
Shut up, Martha. Shut up, Martha. How are you? You all right? You okay?
Yeah. I feel it's been a long time. It hasn't, but I feel, we're doing these every Friday. Stars, Cars, Guitars, new podcast, a new video on YouTube every Friday. But it seems like a long time. And Tony, you've moved locations, sickened by the amount of platinum and gold discs that Jim Cregan has. Look at you with your vinyl and your gold discs.
Well, I mean, I've got the just behind me there is my Live Aid tickets and pass to the special inclusion. And there's a few discs there. I don't know what they are, but anyway, some discs award I was given at some point. I mean,
whose
if
name's
I'm
on the
honest,
phone? That's always the thing. Whose name? Don't worry about that. Because
it's mine. It's my name.
Most of mine are bought in from bought on eBay.
Did they not give you? No. So I must admit, I mean, in this house, this is the music room, and it's and it is, that's where I come and do a bit of singing and stuff like that. But apart from that, that's the first time in any house I've ever had any discs up.
Okay,
it's weird, isn't it? Yeah. They've always been in boxes and stuff. But we've got this lovely little room, and it's very cozy. It's the old part of the house, and it's got CDs and albums and stuff like that. And so it's my music room.
Hey, Jim Cregan, we could play a really good game here with Tony Hadley, right? We could get Tony to get up and reach over, and from the middle of the bottom row of vinyl, he has to pick out the first album, and it's either going to be a great cool album. He's hoping for a Bowie album, but it could be
it could be Vera Lynn,
or Best of the Brotherhood of Man. So shall we get Tony to pull some vinyl? All right, Tony.
That could be a bit. Tone's going to pull some vinyl.
All right.
Let me just let me take my ear things off. I'm just going to go to the middle of the pile. Right. Okay. Here we go. I'm not going to even look. I'm just going to pull it out and everything else.
Go on.
Oh dear. This is wow. That's a weird. Richard James Burgess. Now Richard James Burgess was in a band called Landscape. Einstein a Go-Go.
Einstein a Go-Go.
Yeah, Einstein a Go-Go. And that's kind of weird that I've pulled that out, because he was Spandau Ballet's first producer.
Oh,
he's originally from New Zealand, and he was Spandau Ballet's first producer. And I saw him a few years ago, actually. Richard James Burgess, yeah. And so to cut long story short, and that first album, Journeys to Glory, was produced by Richard James Burgess. And a quick story. So I'm in the studio, and I'm 19. I don't know anything. I don't know anyone. And the phone goes, and he says, "Oh, it's Richard. It's for you." "Oh, hi, Kate." "Yes, Kate. Yeah, Kate. And he's on this call, and I said, "Oh, who was that?" That seemed like a friendly call. And he went, "Well, that was Kate." So I said, "Well, Kate who?" "Kate, who's Kate?" He said, "Oh, that was Kate Bush." Like, shut up. It's like, here I'm, this fledgling, innocent musician, and he's having a right good conversation with Kate Bush. And he's just going, "Yes, it's Kate." It's like, oh, shut up. So but that is not rehearsed. I pulled the album out. There's Richard James Burgess. There you go. Wow.
All right. A good plug for Richard James Burgess.
Absolutely. Wherever he may be.
The thing about people with one name, I remember there's a lovely guy called Jeff Golub, and he played guitar with Rod Stewart for years. He was a wonderful, wonderful musician. And he's gone, unfortunately, these days. He passed away. But he's he was a lovely guy. He was a very handsome guy. He's standing in a bar after the gig, hanging out with the rest of the band. And he's got a T-shirt with Elvis written on it. And these two girls come up to talk to him. And one says to him, "Well, I like your T-shirt, who's Elvis? And he looks at her and he goes, I can't believe that. And the other girl says to her friend, she says, oh, you don't know who Elvis is? It's Elvis Costello, silly.
Stars, Cars, Guitars. Subscribe. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and starscarsguitars.co.uk.
So if you like Stars, Cars, Guitars, please subscribe. We love reading your comments on YouTube. Click like, and as I've said before, phone a friend, stick it on Facebook, and spread the word, because we're loving doing this for you. Right, has anyone got anything on their mind?
Yes. I like what we're doing. I love what we're doing, but there's not enough food. I want more food involved. We've touched on it, but for me, there's got to be more food in this show. I don't mind cooking. I'm not a very good cook, but I could cook or something. So I want more food.
Jim, back me up on this.
Well,
Tony was asked to join a podcast, which will turn into a video channel on YouTube and maybe a theatre tour and hopefully a TV program called Stars, Cars, Guitars. It was never in the plan to talk about food, right? So back me up on this, Jim Cregan. It's not Stars, Cars, Guitars and spaghetti. Help me, Jim.
Well, the trouble is, and I agree up to a point, but the trouble is Tone's so persuasive. And I got an envelope last week with 500 quid in it saying, if you back me on this food business, and also you're never to refer to me again as a rock star, because I'm not. I'm a rock singer. I'm not a rock star, so shut up. So given the fact he's given me 500 quid, I'm going along with him. So Tone, I'm yours, mate, just for that.
Thank you very, very much. What about
More food.
Yeah, we're going to bring Rock and Roll Tom in. Are we putting this to the vote?
Tom
all right.
Yeah.
So I'm voting absolutely no food. No way. Jim?
No, I've been bought, mate. I've been bought. I'm like the Conservative Party, mate. You can buy me for whatever money you like.
Thanks, Jim. Oh, topical.
All right, Rock and Roll Tom. Now, you and I, we had the idea for this. We went to Jim Cregan and Tony Hadley. These guys owe us. As far as I can see it, Tom, they owe us. Now, Tom, unfortunately, is a bit of a cook. He likes talking about food and all that. It just bores me to tears. Tom.
Yes. It's bad news. You're not going through to the next round. We are going to do food.
That's fantastic. It's look, when we started this, stars. Okay, cars, guitars, but stars should encompass lifestyle, fine wines, fine food.
Oh yeah,
a real ale, and stuff like that. We can visit someone's house, and I really want to go to Zuccaro's house, because I've heard he's a brilliant cook. And we can go to Tuscany. He's got a beautiful place in Tuscany. We can go to his place. We can sit out on the veranda and we can sample some food, and we can talk about rock and roll while we're eating copious amounts of spaghetti.
Oh, okay. I'll go for that. I mean, I love food.
I do.
I wouldn't say I'm much of a cook. I can make tea, and I have been known to make toast. But I'll go along with this. Let's see where it takes us. I mean,
Thank you, Jim. Alex. Thank you, Tom. Alex, jog on,
sorry,
mate.
Alex. No, we'll have a try at it. You can make us a sandwich, and we'll see how that goes. If you can make a halfway decent sandwich, then you're part of the team. But if you can't,
you guys know that if you shop anywhere in Britain now, you cannot buy a cheese sandwich. You can get a cheese sandwich with rocket lettuce in it or with bacon in it, but you cannot buy a cheese sandwich. And the food I like, and I like my food, is what I call good, honest British grub. That kind of stuff you get in cafes. That's the kind of food I like. Pie and chips, egg and chips, all that kind of stuff. A chip butty, a really good sandwich with a good filling. Could that be in it?
Can he be muted? Do you think we can mute him, Tom?
That's a bit basic, isn't it, really? I have to say, though, Alex, I do kind of agree with you that you cannot just buy a cheese sandwich unless you go to a cafe. I've got a quick story for you now. So years ago, back in the 80s, down from the Spandau office, there was a little cafe. And I thought, you know what? I just fancy a cheese roll, just a simple cheese crusty roll. So I went in there, lovely little Greek lady in there. Hello, darling. I said, hello, love. All right. I said, can I have a cheese roll, please, sweetheart? No problems, darling. So anyway, so she got the thing where the cheese was capped, picked up the cheese, blew the dust off. This is a true story. True story. Cut the cheese, put it in the crusty buttered roll, put it in the bag, and I went, you know, that'll be whatever it was. And I went, okay, thanks very much. That's all right. Bye-bye, darling. Bye-bye, darling. Anyway, I ate it. She was a lovely lady. I'm sure she wasn't harboring any germs or anything, but she got the cheese and she actually blew on the cheese. What an absolutely true story. Unbelievable.
Oh, dear.
I will not.
And you ate it too, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. Well, I was really hungry, and I thought she was like your granny or something. And I thought, oh, sod it, come on, 5-second rule. She only blew on it for 5 seconds, and I ate it. I did. And look what a strong man,
strong chap you turned out to be.
Exactly.
Well, it never did you any harm. And my nan used to say, "You got to eat a bit of dirt before you die."
Absolutely.
She's dead now, unfortunately. But
she died at 15.
But she did say that, and you've reminded me, Tone. We bought a holiday home years ago, around about 2000, 2001 in Florida. Yeah. And when we moved into this new development, you got lots of gifts. You got gift baskets from people who wanted your business. And you got sent a little bit of kitchenware and bath towels. And this guy knocked on the door. He was doing all of the new houses in the subdivision. And he was friendly and he was American. And he said, "Do you want a burglar alarm?" And, so I let him in and talked to him because I just wanted to hear his great stories. Then another guy came with the cleaning thing and we let him in. And he said, "Have you got any butter?" to my wife. "Have you got any butter, ma'am?" She'd suddenly gone from a miss to a ma'am in about 2 years of holidaying in America. She wasn't happy about that. And he was showing us how good this window cleaner was. So he opened the butter. I swear this is true. And he stuck his finger in the butter. And smeared it all over our window and then cleaned it all off and said, "Isn't that great? Doesn't that look clean?" He had his fingers in our butter.
Oh, that's worse. Yeah. I think that's worse than blowing on the cheese.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
That's not good. When we bring, I'll do a bit of cooking, and like I said, I'm not good. I mean, I did MasterChef, so I was on MasterChef.
Tom, stop going on about MasterChef. We know you were in MasterChef.
I was on MasterChef. I love it when I reminded my missus, she's cooking away, and I say, "Oh, let me just have a look at that," because I was on MasterChef. She hates that. But I just put loads of garlic. Do you like garlic and chili and stuff?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
So because what was the lovely Chinese Asian restaurant we went to down in Southampton? That was incredible food, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was the Blue Jasmine at Ocean Village. And if you go to YouTube and put in Stars, Cars, Guitars, Southampton, you'll see a quick video we did there. Now, that was a great day, Jim, wasn't it?
That was a good day.
But, while we're talking about chefs, I think my favourite chef probably is SpongeBob. I mean, SpongeBob, I don't know if you've ever watched him cook. He's really, really seriously good. The things that he can do that you would like, Alex, from burgers flipped off the floor and behind his back and over his head. I mean, he's a wizard. So, I mean, that's the kind of food that I like too. I'm always, whenever I go anywhere, if I move house or whatever, one of the first things I'm looking for is a great greasy spoon, because they are just, on the days that you want that food, it's a bit like the day you wake up and you say, "I have to have a curry today." There's something in the world that's pointed at you and said, "Curry boy," and that's how it is with a fryer.
Jim, do you like a kebab?
I do.
I love every now and again. I like a doner kebab.
Yeah.
And there's one in Tain. There's a doner kebab store. Right. So get this. So this fella took a year off work and he travelled around the world to sample. I mean, he must have been on holiday as well. He just wasn't just for the kebabs, but he sampled a kebab in every place he went to around the world during the course of this year and marked it out of 10. And he came back home to Tame in Oxfordshire and decided that the kebab van in Oxfordshire was the best kebab on the planet.
Wow, okay. That's nice. That's a good plug for those guys.
10 minutes down the road. Yeah, I mean, a little bit. Mind you, my missus did remind me of the time that she came in and there I was sitting with my head in the kebab. Yeah, I'd forgotten about that. I liked it so much I put my head in it.
This is the thing about the shish kebab or the doner or the half doner. I've not really eaten one since my early 20s, but I'd never met anyone that had eaten one sober. They were always what you had on a Friday or a Saturday night to soak up the alcohol, weren't they?
Yeah.
Well, no, see, I like them sober. I a doner kebab, hot sauce, all those jalapeno chilies in it. Oh, fantastic. Yeah. A salad, obviously, you've got to have your 5 a day. So you put a bit of salad in it. I've got to ask you, Jim, because you lived in LA for so many years and stuff. What was the best burger place in LA?
I think In and Out on Sunset.
In and Out Burger, yeah.
Yeah, In and Out Burger on Sunset. It's still a real burger joint in as much as it's, it's proper fast food.
Yeah,
But there'll be a queue going in there, and the burgers are cooked to order, and they're very, very good. But for a regular burger, we're not talking about a gourmet burger because there's several of those places. But for a proper burger, yeah, the In-N-Out burger is fantastic, and Fat Burger's not bad either. I'm not sure about the name. What were they thinking of? They called it Fat Burger.
Fat Burger.
You remember that? There's a chain of those as well. I mean, the idea that you'd go and can I have a fat burger, please? You're fat enough, son. Go away.
Well, especially in some parts, I'll tell you. It's weird because when you travel across America, and when we did the last tour of America, we decided to drive ourselves to see as much of America as we could. And you drive into a small town and you'd sort of say, oh, excuse me, is there an Italian restaurant nearby? And they'd look at you and go, what? You got In-N-Out Burger, you got the Mexican down the road, you got this, you got that. But you couldn't find yourself and you get queues for In-N-Out Burger and stuff like that. But we found it really hard. I mean, when you go to the big cities, there's amazing restaurants. But some of the smaller places in America, you couldn't find a struggle to find what I call a proper restaurant.
I found that about Nashville. I was in Nashville doing a gig. I was in a band with Bernie Taupin and Robin Mazurier, and we did a little American tour, and we played one of those really cool clubs in Nashville. And Bernie had owned restaurants, and he was quite a gourmet. He was a pretty good cook himself. So was Robin.
Oh, okay.
And we would eat, and we'd plan our dining from the Zagat Guide, which for those who don't know what the Zagat Guide is, a bit like the Michelin Guide. In Europe, it's a really good. The best restaurants in America are in this.
Oh,
guide.
Wow!
And we couldn't find anywhere. This is going back a few years. I'm talking about maybe 20 years ago. Couldn't find a restaurant that was in the Zagat Guide in Nashville. It was all kind of diner food and that you're talking about burgers. I love an American diner, but not every night. It's a bit like I love pizza, but once a week that'll do.
Yeah. No, I'm with you there, Jim. I'm with you. I mean, we all love a burger or a kebab.
Excuse me, is this about food? How long have we been talking about food without even noticing? He's a bugger, isn't he? He's
not happy, Alex. I've got to tell you, he's not happy.
Alex, tell us a story about a guitar that you'd like to own. You've got any guitars you'd like to own. Let's just talk about guitars just for a sec. No.
Well, I know.
So back to the sandwich.
Anyway, yeah. So the best restaurant I've ever been to. We don't want to upset him too much. We do. Yeah, he can.
He's worked for the BBC,
and his haircut's looking good as well.
I think he's a very handsome young fellow.
He is.
Look, guys, I'll be absolutely honest with you, and I hate to say this, and I know that Tony Hadley will never forget this. I can see something in this food thing. Okay, now don't get too excited, but I can see. I would love to find Britain's best greasy spoon. I'd love to do that.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Because no one's done that, have they?
I know.
Oh, right, okay.
No.
Yeah. So I'd love to do that. And I do love Italian food. So, okay, I surrender, but don't go over the top, Tony.
Okay, all right. No, I want a few cars in there and a few guitars. I mean, you know, as I've said many times, if we do go to Slash's house, I want to see his guitar collection. I do. Yeah. And no, I mean, you know what would be great? We could do a pub tour, couldn't we? The best pubs in south of England.
Now he's worth that 500 quid he gave me is coming good. I'm really pleased.
Do you know that would be really?
And there's the other thing. The two things you need when you move into a new house. One is a great pub, and the other one is a great greasy spoon. Of course, it really also helps if it's an Italian restaurant, a great curry house, something. But without a great pub, a town is not happening at all, is it? You know, you don't really want to have to drive to a pub. You want to walk to it.
Oh, it's so good.
I've got one 100 yards up the road from me, which I was in the other night.
I literally go through the stile, and I'm a field away from the pub, and it's so good. The pub's been open again. Oh, so lovely. Yeah, it's everyone. We can see that little kind of clink of light, and we're nearly there. We're nearly there. Oh, fantastic.
Well,
fantastic.
I'll tell you what, when we had the idea for this, I always think the best radio interviews are when you're not doing an interview. It sounds like two people talking in a pub, and that's what we all thought this should be, and it is. So maybe we should go and film one of these in a pub.
Absolutely.
Yeah, sure.
I'm with you there.
Yeah.
Talking about current affairs, what do you reckon about this Super League thing?
It's all fallen over, hasn't it?
I know. Several of them are withdrawn now. Is it all gone completely?
Yeah. There's
wow.
Six teams have backed out according to the news today.
Oh, fantastic. I mean, the trouble is with football, it's elite enough as it is without making it more elitist. It's, it really, I just think it's not good for the fans myself.
Hang on a minute, Tone. If there was a super chart and you were invited to be one of the artists that could be in the super chart, let's call it the transatlantic super chart, right? And you could be one of the artists in that. And they said, look, do you want to be in the normal top 40 or do you want to be in the super chart? You're not going to say, I don't want to be in the super chart.
No, it's not quite the same. I don't think you could make a parallel. One's eggs and the other one's elephants. They don't really go together. I don't think you could. A football league is a completely different thing to charts. Music is, even though we have positions in the chart about how many we've sold, it's not really, A, it's not a contact sport, well, occasionally, and B, it's not supposed to be a competition. We make music for the love of making music. I don't make music to see if I could get a hit over Tony or Tony getting a hit over me. The idea is you make music because it's a love for it. I know. Yeah. I don't think it's the same. I don't think you can equate the two. And I've got a soapbox somewhere in the garage. If you give me a minute, I'll go and get it.
Can I get on that soapbox as well now? Because I like that soapbox.
There's plenty of room on there for you.
I'm with you, Jim, because the thing is even making records today. Look, did I make any money off my last album? It's all streamed and everything. The new album in 2022, which will be finished then. It's everything's streamed. So I don't do it for the money. I do it because I just like making music and writing songs and being in the studio. And I've done several interviews lately where they've said, would you not finish your album remotely? And I'm like, what? No, I can't think of anything worse. I've just been involved in a charity record where I literally had to sing into my phone and stuff like that. It's just not the same. It's just not the same. No, so it's all for the love of music. But if someone did offer me £3 billion, then I might consider it.
Only £3 billion? Coming up a bit short there, Tom.
Jim, it's $1 billion each if we don't cut Rock and Roll Tom in.
All right then. Oh no, we can't do that to him.
Not Rock and Roll. He's the one that does all the work.
He is the one that does all the work, actually.
And Tom does all the work, bless his heart. I meant to say thank you to you, Tom, the other day. I was thinking about, because when I listened to the last podcast, I thought, this is really good. I'm sorry if that sounds like I'm blowing a trumpet for somebody, but thank you for all the stuff you do, Tom. And that's public now.
No, it's a pleasure. Thank you for all the edits you give me to do. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, Tom, you're really good at it. You're really very good at it. And thanks for editing.
Anyway, right?
And thanks for editing out Alex so much. That's really. And by the way, there's a 500 quid is coming your way as well, Tom. Sorry, I'm only joking. Alex, I'm only joking.
I tell you what, Tom, after today's podcast and the risk that you could easily just get rid of me, then you'd have three foodies, you, Jim, and Tone. I'm going to just watch my P's and Q's because I don't want to miss out on any future in Stars, Cars, Guitars. I wanted to talk, and guys, we're out of time. I wanted to talk today about K-Tao and Ronco. K-Tao, 24 electrifying hits, 24 electrifying artists, all on one album for $2.99. We'll have to do that next time. I wanted to talk to Jim about limo drivers and Ike Turner. I wanted to talk to all of you about Bob Geldof, and I wanted to know whether Tony has a stethoscope.
Whoa, what a great question.
I don't. And I've got a microscope, but not a stethoscope. And actually, my wife pulled my microscope out of the cupboard. There's a proper microscope because I used to, look at lots of things. And she found all these slides, and they were like slides of kind of rat brains and things like that from when I was a kid. I was a bit weird, I think. Yeah.
It's so funny the way you said that. Rat brains from when I was a kid. I had rat brains once, but the doctor gave me something, I got rid of it.
He gave you a pill and it all cured itself. And my wife just said, oh, my God, this is disgusting. And but no, I was massively into it. So I got a microscope, but not a stethoscope. There you go.
Well, I know you wanted to be. I was listening back to one of these the other day, and you said when you left school you wanted to be a surgeon, and I thought you would have been a great TV doctor in a daytime soap, Dr. Hadley, with the white coat and the stethoscope.
Yeah, so you kind of like you sort of going. Anyway, so this operation is going extremely well.
No, you'd be outside in the coat with the stethoscope saying, don't worry, Mrs. Davison, I've saved his life. Afternoon, and probably a really bad American afternoon soap. The English doctor, Dr. Hadley. Come on, Jim, couldn't you see?
I agree. Perfect. So we'll club together and get him a stethoscope.
Stars, Cars, Guitar, Food, and Open Heart Surgery just coming your way soon. It's actually, I am a bit weird because I do those amazing TV programs where they perform an aortic valve replacement and they show you the whole operation. And I sit there and go, wow, this is amazing. And everyone thinks I'm a bit weird. It's fascinating stuff.
I've got an anecdote about that. That's the surgeon who operated on my daughter, who had scoliosis, an enormous spinal surgery operation with 19 bolts in her back. Ava's mum, Mandy Perrimont, saw this surgeon, Dr. Ranganathan, his name is. He performed one of those the same operations my daughter had. She saw him do it on TV and contacted him.
Oh, wow.
He ended up being the surgeon who did this job on Ava, and he was absolutely astounding. He was such a great guy. And the results of the operation was huge success, almost no pain.
Ava's doing well, isn't she?
She's
doing great.
Yeah. She's doing absolutely great. But that was a TV doctor, if you like.
Yeah, but that was a proper TV doctor. That's like super vets for animals. Dr. Hadley is in a really bad American TV soap only on daytime.
Actually,
and you'd now be watching it on VHS video. Hey, Rock and Roll Tom, if we could get Tone a white coat and a stethoscope, could you film him and make it look like it's on fuzzy American VHS video? I'd just like to see it.
I think we could make that happen. I think we could do that.
All right. Well, when we get together next time, we've got to find ourselves a scope and a white coat. He could cook while wearing. So is doctors cooking? Can doctors cook? There's the question. Can a surgeon cook? He can chop up the meat, all right, but can he cook? There's a question.
You guys are mad. You're mental.
Tone, I don't want us to sound a bit pervy, but would you dress up as a doctor for me?
Do you want the stocking
It's too
suspenders and all the trimmings, or
No!
It's too late, mate. You'll tumble.
Stars, Cars, Guitars was produced by Tom Stroud.